If you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe and become part of this community. Oh, and also, go cop that fresh merch and listen to my new songs in the description. Yeat is dropping his new album, Afterlife, within the next 14 days. And today, we're going to take a look at why and when this thing is actually coming out and what the latest pieces of evidence are on this. So let's jump straight into this. Real quick, if you don't want to listen to this, make sure to skip 20 seconds into the future. You can now sign up for my free newsletter that's coming out every Sunday with the first link in the description. It covers everything that's been happening in hip-hop over the past week, completely free. And also, follow me on TikTok. I'm posting on the daily. You don't want to miss out on that. Now let's get into the video. So remember when Complex did that really big Yeat story in like November of last year, like Yeat's World, and he also was on their YouTube and, you know, named the goats of everything, all of that. You've probably seen that. And in that interview, we had this one part where he was asked about new music, and he replied by saying the album's going to be in January or February. Well, January's now over, and we're now in February, and we only have 2 Fridays left in February, the 17th and the 24th. But there's more to this than just like, oh, well, he's got 2 more days to drop, so it's dropping on those 2 days. When we take a look at the same time that 2 Alive released last year, it was February 18th. So there's also a possibility that he will try to, you know, do a 1-year anniversary by dropping it on the 17th, which will be next Friday in 7 days. So that is the theory that we got. Now, just to kind of, you know, get this interview over with that he did reveal a couple of more things. For example, that there's not going to be a lot of features on there, that he doesn't like working with a lot of different people, but there are some featured, you know, artists that are rumored to be on here. Ken Carson, Uzi, for example, obviously, that we can expect. But that's still up in the air. We gotta wait for a track list to come out. I don't want to, you know, say anything really like binding on this one because that's just not confirmed. Also, in that interview, he went into detail of what this new album was gonna be sounding like. He famously said that he's moving away from rage beats, which was a big part of the blow up of the underground sound over the past year of 2022. Yeat being one of the main drivers of this wave. But now apparently he's like moving in a little other direction. We saw some stuff that he could be doing, for example, on Life, his latest EP that dropped in September. On Can't Stop It, more like rock influence. I don't know where he could take that, but maybe that's a little hint. Now, I do want to point out that Uzi is also still supposed to be dropping the Pink Tape, which is supposed to be dropping in February because he's going on tour in March, and I dropped the video yesterday on why Uzi is dropping in February, so either the 17th or the 24th, how the Super Bowl is connected to that, a bunch of more info in the video yesterday, so I really recommend you go check that one out after this video because it is directly connected to Yeat dropping. Because, and here's the catch, Yeat and Uzi, they're kind of like, you know, they're pretty good. We know their relationship. They've been good over the past year, ever since they infamously posted that one picture on Yeat's Instagram. And I don't think that Yeat would be dropping on the day that Uzi is dropping. Because for both of them, this next release is pretty big. The Pink Tape for Uzi, because he has to prove that Just Wanna Rock wasn't just a, you know, dance song that he made off of a snippet that performed really well, but he can't back it up with a real body of work. For Yeat also, because now he's like in, you know, in the limelight, a lot more people looking at him, and he got to prove himself. And likely we can expect mutual features. So a Uzi feature on the Yeat, you know, project, very likely. Maybe a Yeat feature on the Uzi project, and that wouldn't make sense for the both of them to drop on the same day. Could happen, but it's unlikely. That's why I'm thinking, and this is my theory based off of the fact that 2 Alive dropped on the 18th, Yeat is dropping the 17th, and Uzi is dropping the 24th. This is just my personal feeling off of researching this and covering this. As I said, make sure to go check out the video yesterday that I made on Uzi. Definitely worth it. Put a lot of work into that. But that's kind of what I'm seeing right now, how this whole thing could be playing out. Now, also, obviously, we haven't talked about the title of this, Afterlife. Now, obviously, this is kind of a pun because the last EP was called Life, and this is literally After Life, but it's also Afterlife. It's kind of the same thing he did with Alive and then 2 Alive, the album. So he's always like, he's always in for like a joke when it comes to the titles. But Afterlife, especially with that punctuation of the dots above the E and the life with the Y, it looks badass. For some reason, it looks really badass. Now, the first time he actually teased at this and gave us the title for this, or at least confirmed the title for this, was early January when he posted to his Instagram story that Afterlife is coming soon, or he basically announced the title Afterlife, and that's basically when we got to know this. Now, also over the past couple of days and weeks, he's been again and again teasing stuff on his story. For example, he put out a story only a couple of days ago that read, "I just realized this album crazy." So he's been trying to promote this album and give the fans a little bit of a teaser of what's to come, maybe hinting at a release next week. Also, what I definitely also wanted to put in here is that his producer, Benny X, also put out on his Twitter Afterlife, so he's definitely going to be on there, which isn't a surprise. It was quite likely that he was going to be on there. But then also he posted on his Instagram, or Twitter in this case, only 3 days ago, album of the year on the way. So they're pretty confident that this album is actually pretty good. Now, we don't have any official information on this. I believe over the course of the next week, we gotta wait until Super Bowl weekend is over and Uzi has his whole hype with Just Wanna Rock kind of died down, and maybe we'll get some sort of announcement from Uzi. I think once we get the announcement from Uzi, whether Uzi is dropping the Pink Tape either on the 17th or the 24th, we can kind of assume that Yeat is dropping on the, well, yet other date, so either then the 17th or the 24th. I think Yeat can go a really interesting direction on this one. We've seen him, as I said, Can't Stop It off of Life as something that I thought was really interesting and a sound that I think he could kind of, follow up further and expand in that direction. But also, I think we're going into a Yeat project. We kind of know what it's sounding like. It's not going to be something completely different. It's not going to be something that he's never done before. We're still going to get somewhat of the same flow, somewhat of the same styles. But Yeat is someone that I think has yet to expand his repertoire as an artist and his toolkit way more than he has so far, which I think is a good thing. And there are way more eyes on Yeat right now, watching his next move and kind of like anticipating what he's going to do next. And it's going to play a big role as to how, this whole new generation of underground stuff, now Yeat is pretty big now, obviously, but how that's going to be perceived and how mainstream that can still become, because a lot of people aren't listening to trap or like to whatever was going on drill for the past 2-3 years. They're not listening to that anymore. It is this rage underground sound that's now coming up, and we have a lot of people that are breaking through. I mean, Summers dropped the album recently that did really well, so people are definitely taking notice of this, and artists are also putting people like Yeat on. Yeat was on the NBA Youngboy album. Uzi obviously tapped into that heavily, so people are noticing that. So, well, that's everything we got on this Yeat Afterlife album. Now, real quick, if you're in the game for a new hoodie, the one I'm wearing right now is hella comfortable, and you can get 20% off with the code TRUEFAN with the merch bar right below this video, so you can get a dope ass hoodie and support your boy. But that being said, let me know what you think about this new Yeat project. When do you think it is dropping? How do you think this is connected to the Uzi drop? And what are your expectations for it? All your thoughts and theories on this, please let me know in the comments down below. If you watched this video to the end and liked it, and you want to stay up to date with all current hip-hop events and releases, make sure to subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that like button, and go follow my social media, and most importantly, join my Discord in the description. Until the next one, you'll have an incredible day, and y'all take care.